Now let's go ahead and talk about what's new in Java 9. So we're able to run here right away once we start running our Java 9 application here. There aren't a lot of things that visibly that you can see that have changed from previous versions of Java. Now, if this is your first time using Java, not to worry. Most of the features in Java 9 are not necessarily going to affect, per se, our learning of Java, because the language itself hasn't really changed much. It's just that a few features, a few libraries have been added, and many of them have been optimized. Now, Java 9 was released officially on September 21st, 2017, and they have released approximately 90 new features. Obviously, we're not going to be discussing all of the 90 features that were released because that will take a lot of time, but I've selected a few features that I think will be important for you even as a beginner, or if you're intermediate Java developer or advanced, you will appreciate this. Okay. Now, again, if you're a beginner and you don't really know what is the difference between Java 8 or 7 and 9, don't worry about it. You will notice that as we go through this course, we're going to use the Java 8, which is the version that we're going to be using in this course, in most of the applications in this course. Okay. But I really want to touch on Java 9. Java 9 is still new. There's still bugs, there's still things that they're working on. So it's advisable to not jump straight to Java 9 when compiling applications that you want to send to users and so forth at this point. Okay, so but fear not, don't worry about it. Okay, so let's go ahead here. Features of Java 9. Java 9 overview. Well, the first thing we need to do actually is to understand certain acronyms that come with Java. So if you're new to Java, this may seem very strange, but nevertheless, I still want you to understand or start thinking about, or at least have some ideas of certain acronyms that you will find in Java. Now, the first acronym you will see, especially when you start looking at the features that Java 9 provide, is JSR. What JSR stands for is Java Specification Request. So what Java Specification Request really is? Well, JSR describes proposed and final specifications for the Java platform. So a JSR essentially is an umbrella that hosts all of the different JEP, we'll see in a second here, which stands for Java JDK Enhancement Proposal. So these Java specification requests allow developers, allow Java programmers to know exactly what are the features that need to be added into the Java library, into the Java realm. Okay, so you will see, for instance, JSR 376. If we open the Java doc, you will see that that is actually the Java Platform Module System, which is the new Jigsaw. And we'll see that in a second here. So JSRs have numbers associated with them, just like I said. So in this case, we have 376. Now, why do we have all of these acronyms and all of these specifications, or all this specification? Well, these are important because these names are used to make it easy for us to identify changes included in any given Java release. The next one we're going to hear is JEP. JEP stands for JDK Enhancement Proposal. So what is a JDK? JDK stands for Java Development Kit. When we want to develop applications, Java applications, we have to install a JDK, a Java Development Kit, which includes all of the libraries, all of the Java libraries needed for us to be able to write, run, and publish Java applications. Okay, so JEP stands for JDK. So the J is actually an overloaded acronym. So J will stand for Java SDK or JDK, and E, Enhancements Proposal. And we'll talk about them in a little bit here. Next one is the REPL, which stands for Read, Evaluate, Print Loop. You will hear people pronounce this REPL. So this is a new feature in Java 9 that lets us do code interactively, and also allows us to run little code snippets before we put them into our program. So it's a very nice, neat feature. That way we are able to have a little sandbox, if you will, so that we can test pieces of code before we put them into a production code base. The next one is JRE, which stands for Java Runtime Environment. Just think of a Java runtime environment as a sandbox, a Java sandbox, a place where we can play, where Java lives in our machine as we install everything, where we can actually run our Java applications and do all sort of things with it. Okay, that's actually one of the beauty of Java, is because it has a portable Java runtime environment, which allows us to take that environment, we can put it in any device that supports that environment, and our applications would run. The next acronym that I think it's important to be aware of is PID or PID, which stands for Process ID. It's important to understand that each Java process, as we run our programs and so forth, has a specified ID assigned to it. And there have been a few changes in the way process IDs are handled in Java 9. Let's go ahead and look at some of the Java 9 features here. Okay, let's go back now. You understand why I wanted to start with the Java acronyms, right? JSR 376, you've seen this before. This is indeed one of the features that was added in Java 9. Again, if this makes no sense to you because you're just new to Java, do not worry, but I still want you to follow along in this section, in this lecture, so you at least have some ideas of what's new in Java 9 and why is it so important that we're even talking about it. It refers to the Java module system, which is called the Jigsaw. It may be a little bit confusing at first to grasp the idea of why is this so important. Now, right now, Java is a monolithic platform where every program had access to everything, right? Which is not a great feature if we were talking about smaller devices that don't need to know everything that Java offers. Meaning, if you were to download the Java JDK and you're using Java platform to create a certain application, let's say for an Android or for other devices like a DVD player, what happens now is that when you are writing those applications for those smaller devices, the programs that you're writing have access to everything in the Java realm, which means we are actually getting or taking all of these different libraries, all of these different components, Java components, that they really aren't needed in that certain development environment, right? If we are developing for a small device, we don't need everything that Java provides, right? So now with this JSR 376 Java module system called Jigsaw, we are now compartmentalizing, we are modularizing our code, our Java. That way we can even have smaller runtime environments within our devices as opposed to have a bigger one, which is really not necessary in certain cases. JSR 376 is one of the most important features that came out with Java 9. Now, the cool thing here is that I've added this link to openjdk.java project JDK 9. This link here is very important because if you copy this, and let's go ahead and open it and paste in the link, or openjdk.java.net project JDK folder, you'll notice now you notice it takes us to this page here, which can be a little bit intimidating at first, especially if you don't have a grasp on all of the acronyms and the way they document all of this. So this essentially you can see here, you can see it says JDK 9. The goal of this project was to produce an open source reference implementation of the Java SE 9 platform as defined JSR 379. Now we know what JSR is. So if you click on JSR 379, it tells you exactly a little bit about it, the people who are involved, and of course the schedule that was released. Okay, and you can see here September 2017, that was the day when it was released. Okay, let's go back. Now, one of the things you notice, this is actually a JEP, okay, which is the JDK Enhancement Proposal. Now, you notice here, all of these are all these proposals that were added, different proposals, JEP, that were added into Java 9. Now, you notice here, for instance, it says 110, which is HTTP 2 client, which is one of the biggest one that was added. If you click on this, what this means now is that they have the way HTTP 1 was handled in Java is now changed to HTTP 2, which means they've added different ways of doing HTTP requests. Okay, if that makes no sense, that's okay. Just know we've now have a different way of doing all those HTTP requests, like clients and all sort of things that we can do in Java now. And you can read more here about summary of what has been changed or what has been added in this new version of Java 9. Okay, and tells you even the motivation of why they've decided to actually add that feature. So it's pretty neat, and you can go ahead and read yourself, and you can see exactly what has been done. And I really encourage you to do this, even if it makes no sense right now. The reason why is it will give you some sort of sense of an overview of what is this beautiful language that we are learning. How these amazing programmers at Oracle figure out how they go about adding features to our code base, to our language library, in this case Java 9. So you can see here, for instance, the JEP 200 is the modular JDK, which is actually going to be JSR. You see here, it says JSR 376. If you click here, you're going to see it's actually the, like I said, platform module system. Okay, this is hopefully starting to make sense on how to read and get information about what has been done. And it tells you here, it says use the platform module system, specify JSR 376, and implemented by JEP 261 to modularize the JDK. So in the next video, we'll continue exploring what's new in Java 9 and its new features. All right, I'll see you in the next video.